Very thankful for your continued attention. We cannot talk about education without speaking about teachers, primary and secondary schools. How can we equip them, especially in this new tenure of President Buhari's cabinet? I'm being joined by Henry Anumodu. He is of Teach for Nigeria alumni. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
And of course, we have Folashade Babatunde, also from the Teach for Nigeria alumni. Very glad you could join us.
Thank you for having us.
Okay. Equipping those that will do what they need to do to change the narrative in our education sector, and that's the teachers and other issues. In your opinion, what are these things?
I think the teachers are the most important factor at the school level for learning. If you think about it, you'll see that our policies will remain just words on papers, and our discussions and deliberations will just remain ideas if we do not find a way to funnel it down to the teacher in the classrooms, if they do not somehow translate into lesson notes. And it's the knowledge, the ability, the skill set, and the enthusiasm of the teacher that will determine the success or otherwise of the child in the classroom. But right now in our education system, in the teaching profession, we see that we have a bad PR for teachers. So we have to...
How can we change that?
Yes.
Because this conversation tonight is basically about, setting agenda and seeing how we can, offer suggestions that could help change what we have currently.
I think we need to begin a national campaign that promotes the impact, the stories of teachers, the stories that are happening in the classrooms. I think we really need to get on that. I've been teaching for the past 2 years in a public primary school in Ogun State under the Teach for Nigeria Fellowship. And I share my story a lot across social media and across public speaking platforms. And recently, I got a message from a girl from Taraba. Her name is Victoria. And she sent me a text, and she says she just finished her NYSC, and she was posted to the university at Wukari. She got a job at the university at Wukari as an assistant administrative officer. But she heard my story, and she's so passionate about children and young people that she was moved, and she told her boss that she really wants to be posted to the staff school. She got there, and she continues sending me updates how happy she is. Last time she told me the children made her a bead on her wrist.
Well, aside from the satisfaction of teaching, there is also the issue of remuneration, because you cannot go to school. I'm a trained teacher, for instance, yes, and I finished and I looked at it. Even before I finished, I knew that as much as I'm passionate about teaching, I cannot sustain myself on that job. I mean, from the background, maybe now my thoughts may be different, but a lot of Nigerians think like that, that teachers are underpaid, and as a result, it affects the quality that they bring to the classroom. Let me just shift the conversation to you. What, in your opinion, can this new entrant, the minister and the second term of Buhari, do to change the narrative for teachers?
Okay, so I think, just like you mentioned, the salary issue is also very, very important, and it's something that the minister needs to also revisit to make sure that teachers are, in terms of remuneration, they are well taken care of. But as much as that, also, like Henry mentioned, we need to change the narrative about the stories about the teacher. So an average Nigerian don't want to be a teacher. Why? Because they feel it's just a job that is not, is not really paying off. But then, if we can really, invest in teacher training and make sure that everyone sees the positive side of teaching. Of course, the money is very important. But even the truth is that if you increase the salary right now, and still the teacher training has not, a lot of them have not gone through the teacher training, especially the in-service teacher training, then much may not be changed. So we still need to focus on teacher training, changing the narrative of a teacher that being a teacher is not one of the worst things that has, So in some countries you have it that just the way we see doctors here, teachers are seen as kings over there. So I think we need to begin to change the narrative, as Henry said, through national campaign.
Can we achieve that in the next 4 years, do you think?
Yes, we need to start.
We've started it already.
Yes.
The Teach for Nigeria has begun the process, because I see this happening every day. There's a beauty in the classroom.
Yeah. Yes, there is.
The problem is young people are not seeing it. what they are seeing is, something, the old story about, a dilapidated classroom, low pay.
We still have that. I mean, you're talking because you're passionate about it. Yes, and you see beyond what is in the present. But we live in a completely materialistic world where people want to feel the benefit of the impact that they are making. Passion needs to pay. Yes. The people in the creative industry, they will tell you that all the time. You see a photographer making money, and then the teacher whose responsibility it is to groom the next generation is left hanging. So as much as you're passionate about it, a lot of persons will tell you that passion is not going to put food on my table.
Yeah. Yes, true. This is the Teach for Nigeria model, for example. It gets young people who are passionate, just like I, and convinces them to come to the classroom and give 2 years of their life to teaching and impacting children in the classroom, right? I did that. Teach for Nigeria told me a story that I can make a difference. Yeah. I can change a life. I can make a transformation.
We're definitely going to do a story on that after now. So let's look at all things. And in the last administration, we had about, still the same administration, but the second term, there was this hype about the school feeding program. And there was a lot of bottleneck along the way. In your opinion, did that achieve the purpose, and did it give the children in the states that were said to have practiced it the required nutrition and encouragement to stay in class? Because that was one of the reasons for the school feeding program, to stay in class. If that is the case, that means all is well. If not, how can they improve? Okay,
so having spent 2 years in the classroom, I worked as student. Children came to school with no breakfast and not even hope for lunch, and I keep asking, how can you educate a child who is hungry and malnourished? There's no way, there's no magic any teacher can do at that point in time that child can learn well. So the truth is that the school feeding program was initiated and all, but I want to say that much effort still needs to go into it to make sure that whatever it is being provided for this kid meet up to their nutritional needs in terms of quantity and quality. I saw some of the food that was served, and I can say that in terms of quality and quantity, they are very, very poor. So I think the ministry needs to really do much into, either reviewing or whatever process it is, and also bringing experts. For example, we have nutritionists, we have dietitians that should be a part of this in planning the food. So there should be a school plan, a nutrition plan, where you say, okay, maybe 1/3 of the school feeding of a child's nutritional requirement per day is being met by the feeding program.
Administration of that school feeding program in less than a minute, if you can wrap it up. The administration of that process, is it good enough?
No, it needs to be improved on. Okay. It needs to be improved.
I guess I wish we had more time, but thank you very much for the thoughts you've shared with us on the program tonight.
Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure to have you. All right, we'll go on another break, and when we come back, more conversations for you here on Plus Politics.